for your position, and maybe a line or two about each of the guys individually and how they're doing so far.
Yeah, you know, as much now we are honing in on our offense and what kind of offense we're going to be, depending on quarterback, of course. I like the progression of our running backs and seeing what they can do best within this offense. I think X is getting better and better from a standpoint of recognizing defenses, what to do, understanding the schematics of the offense. Daniel is looking quicker than he has in the past, and so I'm really happy with those two guys. And now we have to figure out who the third and fourth guys are. And so they're competing at that third and fourth spot with Tevin and George and Deontay. But I like the questions that they ask. So the understanding is there. Now they have to just go play with speed and not think so much.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like these guys, especially the top two, they're very content to hit the hole, to go where the ball, the play is designed to go. They're not spilling outside. They're not kind of freelancing and things like that. It seems very intense.
Absolutely. I think those guys are very disciplined in their reads. They're one-cut guys that get vertical real quick, and I like that type of guys. And so we're trying to get a couple of our other backs from hippity-hoppity all around and hitting those holes, and hopefully they watch those two backs as they progress. But I like what I see out of those two guys.
Jorge Rubino, Devil's Digest. Shaun, when you look at the first practice, you had Daniel right there taking instructions from you. How would you describe the evolution of his game? What is the biggest element do you think he had to overcome from the first day you saw him in practice until today?
You know, I think it was the understanding of the offense from a schematic standpoint. Those conversations that we have now are more mature. And so those are, Coach, do you think this? What do you think this? And instead of me just giving direct instruction for him what to do. And so his feel of the offense and schematics is greatly improved, and I think that it'll keep improving. The more he watches film, the more he understands. We like to watch film on other guys and their techniques, and how does it match up with their style. And so we're getting through those film, and I think they've been transitioning from the classroom to the field pretty well.
Robbie, Jordan, and then Michael. Hi, Coach Robbie with Fox 10. Just curious with X, is kind of a unique size and skill set, what he can bring to this offense, maybe different than some of the other backs we've seen in years past.
When we talk about that running back, he's a slasher type guy. I like the way he gets skinny in holes. I like the way he stays tight to double teams. That is natural from a running back standpoint. And so he gets downhill really quick. In film that we watch from Wyoming, I like his finish. I liked his finish. And we don't tackle here at practice, so we can't see that finish. But I'm confident that he'll be a very, very productive back in this offense.
Hey, Coach, Jordan Ham, Sports 360 AZ. When you think back to Daniel's recruitment, especially right before signing day, right before he made that commitment, just what memories jump out to you about that?
You know, Daniel's always been the quiet. He likes to process, but he's ultra competitive. And so when that time came, there was two guys that are looking at for that second back, and Daniel was one of them. And when he called me 2 days prior to committing, just the way he spoke to me and his conviction and his excitement, and so that's the guy that we went with, and I'm so happy that he's here. And then he had to wait as being the third down guy, waiting for his turn, and every time that we've put him in, he's been productive, and shame on me. Maybe he should have been that guy before, but I think he's followed the process, he's trusted the process, and now it's going to be his turn.
Coach Michael Caratino, Sideline Sports. When you look at obviously picking up blocking scheme and for the running backs and how they're adjusting to, but what about being receivers out of the backfield? As you just mentioned, obviously depending on the quarterback, they're all getting reps, but how do you feel that they've adjusted as receivers coming out of the backfield?
I think they do very well. Both X and Daniel and Tevin have been prior receivers in high school. I've looked at that in my recruitment. Where have they played other than just the running back position? And so those natural pass catchers, whenever I go recruit, I like those guys that played in the slot, have natural catching abilities. I think that translates well to being that third down back in the collegiate level. And so I'm very confident that of course, I'm very selfish too. I want to say, hey, just check down to the back. You know, you throw the ball 60 yards and it's a touchdown, it's a 60-yard touchdown. Throw the ball 2 yards and he runs 58, same thing. And so get that ball on the check down. But I'm excited about their natural catching abilities.
And then I know I always ask you, but how do you feel about how they've how they've gelled with the offensive line, just picking up blocking schemes and like you say, getting to holes, but more so in pass blocking.
You know, Coach Cav and I, like we've said before, work together tremendously. And so a lot of those guys, they'll make the call. We have the authority to redirect the calls. And so they work in any of the pass schemes from a film standpoint, we work together. In any of the run schemes, we work together. And so a lot of our running backs understand every call that's going up front, not only from a run standpoint, but also a pass standpoint. And so they work together, and we work in groups together before we separate. And so I think that has helped us a lot.
Shaun, I know this program takes a lot of pride in the players that came out of this program and being drafted in the NFL as they have, and also having the success that they're having. With Rachaad White right now probably slated to be the number 2 running back at Tampa Bay, is that running back that you think you're really going to study each and every week and maybe bring those clips into the film room, not only just to show the credibility of, you know, what can you become if you're a good running back here at Arizona State, but maybe also as, you know, some kind of a, you know, teaching tool for some of the younger or maybe less experienced running backs in this room?
Absolutely. And you know, I think they learned from Rachaad because in his last semesters here, not only on the football field, he was a 4.0 GPA student. And so that brings a lot of character and leadership to that group. The thing that every cut-up that we make is either from prior practices in the spring or from the previous year. And most of those cut-ups that we put as learning tools are based upon Rashaad's. Then now he has a unique style that I think is a little bit different. He's more of a slider than a slasher like those guys, but from a standpoint of what we're trying to get done, I think he's a great tool. He's a great tool.
And I know that the pass blocking sometimes is the overlooked element of the running backs and how important that is. How pleased have you been with that aspect in specific from the beginning of preseason practices until today?
You know, I think they're smaller on size than Rachaad, and Eno was a strong guy as well. I think going into the league, that was a question for both of those. And so I take it upon an evaluation of myself that I got to get those guys ready. And so we've spent more time, I think, on the pass protection part with these guys, getting them ready for the next level, but especially for protecting our quarterbacks. You know, we have a new line that I think that is going to take probably 1 or 2 games to fully gel. And so we need to make sure that we make them right. A lot of times the running backs' job is to make the linemen right on those pass protections. And so we've worked very hard on that. And I take that personal because I want to make sure that they are ready for the next step.
And even though you have new faces at the offensive line, it's still the same offensive line coach. Is that maybe a sense of comfort for you as a running back coach, just to know what kind of blocking schemes you can expect from this line? Again, even though there's some new faces, but it's still the same philosophy.
Absolutely. And we worked so well together. I'm able to correct linemen. He's able to correct running backs. A lot of times when there's egos in that, right, leave alone my group and I'll leave alone your group, but we work together tremendously well. And so I think that helps. And the cohesiveness of those two groups, seeing that, I think it feeds off itself.
Hey, Shaun, just another year, another offensive scheme, another offensive coordinator. What's up in terminology-wise or change-wise?
You know, I think from a schematic standpoint, it's all the same. The terminology changes. And I catch myself, Coach, in, you know, that was the play last year. And so in trying to figure it out in my mind to see it the way the new coordinator sees it, I'm excited about this scheme and what Coach Thomas has brought about it. But it is a learning process. And sometimes I'll say, you know, they'll ask me a question and I really don't know. I say, well, you need to go check it out. And then I go in the back and I make sure that I'm right as well. But just the terminology part is a little bit different, but I think schematics were pretty much the same.